Welcome to Raiders of the Lost podcast. Let's discuss the latest news in film and television.
Hey everyone, this is Anthony.
And this is James, and today we're going to do our first episode kind of on just movie news, film news over the past week, and this is for the first week of June after Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, if you're fans of films like we are, we know that you would investigate news. You're always watching new trailers, seeing what the new castings are, set photos or things like. I'm addicted to looking at all this new stuff, so we wanted to start doing episodes for you all, so we can just so that James and I can discuss it amongst you.
Yeah, and so I think the first thing I want to talk about is the box office performance for Memorial Day weekend and A Quiet Place Part 2, which we went and saw that Thursday night, right? That was on the 28th, I believe, and it was an amazing movie, and we actually have a little bonus review coming out this week on Tuesday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But A Quiet Place Part 2 grossed $47 million domestically Memorial Day weekend. Cruella came in second with $21 million. Then Raya the Last Dragon was $2.3 million. Then Spiral was $2.2 million. Wrath of Man, $2.1 million. And so it was a great weekend for Krasinski's film, A Quiet Place Part 2. And in total, that film is already over $100 million in just its first week of being in theaters. And so it's great to see the performance of the sequel because it's so awesome, and I love Krasinski, and it's a great movie to get back to the theaters to see.
But it was an important weekend because before this, theaters had been open in LA and across the country, but new releases, they were earning like $2 million, $3 million. Like that was like the top of the board, like $3 million opening weekend, and that's horrible. That's like okay if it's like your 10th week in the theaters. And so this is a huge test for movie theaters to see if people are going to keep going to the cinemas. And one movie earning almost $50 million just on the 3 days is a huge deal. It's a big, it's a great sign for the future of cinemas. And I think that with this, it proves that the theater experience is not dead.
Yeah, plus it's a horror film, so which aren't generally huge for box office, and to see that perform so well. And even though Cruella, I think that was also streaming on Disney Plus at the same time, so a lot of people probably didn't go to theaters to see it, but I'm sure they watched it online.
I just think with Cruella, it didn't seem very kid friendly. Whereas we watched Cruella when we were kids, and we watched 101 Dalmatians when we were little, and so I think this movie was made for adults. And in terms of the Disney audience, I think they kind of took out most of their audience for this movie.
So maybe you're saying that the audience was kind of confused as what Cruella was.
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't look like a movie that like an 8-year-old girl is going to want to see.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that Cruella, I can't say Cruella is clearly Disney's trying to take Joker. Their take on Joker. They're like, wow, Joker made $1 billion on a $60 million budget. How do we make a Joker of our own, and let's do Cruella?
She has the name and kind of the look, but it seems like a different persona completely.
Yeah, they just changed it. Yeah, they turned her into anti-hero.
So I think a lot of kids who maybe grew up watching 101 Dalmatians, like their parents show it to them, they were maybe confused about this movie. Like, should I bring my kid to see this? I mean, it looks pretty adultish.
Yeah. But I haven't checked it out, but I definitely want to watch it. The cinematography looks great, and I love Emma Stone. So anyways, let's move on to another exciting topic of the week that Taika Waititi shared on Instagram. Thor Love and Thunder wrapped filming, and he shared a photo of him in character as, what's his character's name?
Korg,
the New Zealand rock man. And then an absolutely jacked Chris Hemsworth. Like
the most jacked he's ever been.
He's enormous in this photo. So I'm really excited to see if they do like a fun Thor getting rid of fat Thor workout scene of him just like doing a godlike exercises or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I think that they'll just cut to when we first see him, he'll be jacked, I think. Because it's
just bench pressing like a building.
Yeah, so I think he might be in a band, like a traveling galaxy rock band.
That's pretty funny.
And I think that might be the first scene we see Thor, and it was like playing guitar for a band.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great movie because Ragnarok is the best Thor movie easily. It might be it's one of the best Marvel movies in general in the MCU. And then we have Mighty Thor, so Natalie Portman's going to be Natalie Thor, so I'm really excited to see. Natalie Portman's going to be Mighty Thor, so I'm pretty excited to see what they do with the character, if it's based on the comic. And in that comic book, Jane actually harnesses the power of Thor, but it causes her to have cancer. So I don't know if they're going to use that storyline, whether or not, like every time she uses the power, it starts to kill her at the same time.
Because she's just human.
Yeah.
That makes sense because in the post, Hemsworth said there might be some tears in the movie as well.
So I'm very excited to see that movie.
I'm so excited because Christian Bale is the villain.
Yeah.
And I looked into the villain. He looks like a total badass. And anything, we're huge fans of Bale, so anything he does, I'm a big fan of.
In the set photo of Bale, there's like a street photo of Bale with the shaved head, like completely like bald and shaved head, because I think what they're probably going to do is sort of like
the character's bald.
what they do with Vision with like a colored makeup, because the character I think is blue.
Yeah.
In the
No,
comics.
he's gray.
Or he's
He's
different,
like a light
different
gray.
interpretations. He's like a blue charcoal gray.
He looks like, you remember, like Star Trek Into Darkness, you know, that race, like that girl with the white and black streaks. I think it might be something kind of like that.
Yeah, so,
but look a little better than that.
Yeah,
though.
so I'm assuming he's getting like the Vision treatment, where his entire body and skin tone is changed to like a different color.
All I know is he kills people with a sword. So sign me up.
It's got to be a good script if he signs on to do it, because it's Christian Bale.
And he's super funny. People don't know this. If you watch him on interviews and like on talk shows, he's a very funny guy. He's never really been able to stretch that funny muscle of his.
Yeah, you can say American Psycho is a comedy in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
But I love we have American Psycho episode coming out soon for those of you listening. So be tuned for that. But what we talked about that is that he could have been a great villain. He could have been a great Joker, just his performance, and that shows that like evil nature that he can easily bring out. And because he's Batman for so long, maybe part of him was like, I gotta get a great villain role sometime in the future.
And I think he missed doing action. He hasn't done action for so long. He's been doing obviously amazing work, but I think that he loves the action scene. So that, because like he did Terminator,
That was bad.
yeah, it wasn't good, but he did the best he could with it. And I think he just misses making a big movie, learning the fighting choreography, training, like just being a badass. I think he wanted to do something like that, so I think this was a good opportunity for him.
I'm sure it's wildly fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. What else we got? So Loki. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
So Loki is actually premiering next week, the TV show on Disney Plus on June 9th, and I'm actually very excited to check this out because Loki's a really interesting character, and we don't know too much about the show. Like the official synopsis, it says that it follows Loki as he pops up throughout human history as an unlikely influencer on historical events. So I'm curious to see what that means.
So he's like Forrest Gump?
Kind of, yeah. Basically, yeah.
When's the 3 years of running going to take place?
So like 2 years, it's like a time-traveling Forrest Gump with Loki, which is that's a cool idea for a show.
Yeah, the trailer, it's very curious trailer. I have no idea what it's going to be about.
And Owen Wilson's in it.
Owen Wilson. Hey,
Loki.
You're Loki. I love Owen Wilson, so I'm glad that he's back doing stuff. And it looks like I have no idea what the show's going to be about. And Tom's awesome, and I'm very curious, and it piqued my intrigue for sure.
I think in terms of between Falcon and Soldier and WandaVision, like WandaVision, you kind of went into it like having no idea what it was or it's about. Whereas Falcon and the Soldier, you could kind of see what the show is going to be like when you watch the trailers for it and eventually watch it. But WandaVision is like you're totally taken by surprise. So I think maybe Loki's going to be like we have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, and they look like Hiddleston and Owen Wilson look like a great comedic duo.
Yeah, for sure.
And also the trailer for The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, came out. We saw it in theaters when we saw A Quiet Place, and the trailer kicks. It kicks.
Yeah, I think we immediately noticed that the production value is so high in this movie.
Every one of them, they keep getting more boatloads of money because, I mean, the movies make easily $300 million, no problem, guaranteed. So, but, I mean, the trailer, it looks like, obviously, like probably the first hour of the movie is like traditional, like kind of setup for a horror movie, but they sneaked some really cool images and moments in it, and it looks very, like, pretty intense. I'm sure it has a great climactic sequence, and I'm actually curious to see it. I mean, I love horror movies, and there haven't been that many in the last couple of years, so, and I'm a fan of that franchise, so I'm looking forward to it.
Let's stay on trailers because there's a few more. So we have the new Black Widow trailer, which looks pretty cool. I think it was like a shorter, like 1 minute one, and it kind of shows Natasha like dealing with her past, and so I think that's what her character is going to have to go through in like working with her family and accepting where she comes from in a way.
Yeah, and it's got an amazing cast. It looks like very cool action. I'm just curious where it takes place in the timeline of the MCU. It must be in between two Avengers movies when she's like off on her own.
It's got to be because you can't do it like before she's an Avenger because she would have been too young.
Yeah, exactly.
And ScarJo's got to be around 40 now.
I'm guessing it's after Ultron is where it takes place, and I think Florence Pugh is a great choice. I'm very curious about the movie. We'll see what it looks like.
And then we have Neil Blomkamp's new movie called Demonic. It's this horror film. It looks really cool. He's got like VR elements and just demonology and Satanism.
It looks like it's VR inside of a person's soul,
something
or
like
mind.
that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because it seems like in the VR there are people that she knew, like her mom's in it. So it must connect to your brain, and your brain basically uses the VR to create a world. Is my guess.
It kind of reminded me of that Black Mirror episode where the VR episode where the person's like inside of it and it seems so real in a way like that. But it looks really freaking scary, and I'm pretty intrigued by the trailer.
It looks super terrifying. So, and he hasn't made a movie in forever, so I'm very curious.
There's this crazy trailer I saw for America the Motion Picture, which is I think it's a Netflix production. It's a movie. It's an animated movie, but it looks so funny and cool, and like the cast is insane, and like all the characters are like enormous and jacked, like George Washington and everyone. So it looks like a lot of fun. So I recommend checking it out because
do they have superpowers?
I don't know if they have superpowers, but it's like the founding of America and the country and everything, but like in a fun cartoonish way. It seems
It's like 2D animation.
Yeah, it seems pretty cool.
Cool. I'll have to check it out. And then also the Eternals trailer dropped last week. It looked interesting. They didn't tease anything, but I mean, great cinematography and a huge, gigantic cast. I'm not sure how they'll be able to juggle 10 characters that no one knows about in a movie. My guess would be there's maybe 3 main ones, and otherwise everyone else kind of gets like a few beats here and there. But it's hard enough to juggle an Avengers movie that people are familiar with, but I don't know any of these people. I don't know who they are.
Yeah, true. But I mean, they got 2 Starks, so I think that's going to help from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with you got a couple Starks.
It looks
on
like
board.
Jon Snow is just going to be Jon Snow. Again, it's like...
Yeah, he plays a knight.
Yeah.
I mean, if you need a knight, I mean, who are you going to call? Kit Harington.
Kit Harington typecast, but it could be a worse typecasting. Like, it's not that bad.
He's getting that Marvel money, man.
Yeah, for sure. Who doesn't want that Marvel money? I mean, even Christian's like, yo, give me some of that. Speaking of Marvel, the Avengers Campus was also just dropped at California Adventure, which is directly across from Disneyland. They're different parks, even though they're both owned by Disney. And whenever I've been to Disney, I always get both passes so I can check out both parks. But the Avengers Campus, it looks pretty damn cool. It's like a whole section of California Adventure. It's just like this like corner of a street, and they have these cool buildings and gift shops, and they have like an animatronic characters and Spider-Man like climbing up buildings and stuff. It's pretty wild to check it out.
I can't believe it's animatronic. It looks like
I thought it was real. Then someone's like, "No, it's a robot." I'm like, "What?"
It's unbelievable.
It makes it even creepier though when you think about it.
It's crazy.
It's a robot climbing on the walls.
It looks so realistic.
It's pretty cool. So if you're around California and you visit Disneyland, yeah, check it out. Like that and Galaxy Edge, it's pretty cool.
There's some really cool set photos that have been released and a lot of great reveals. The first one would be the Indiana Jones 5 has set photos released, which finally confirms that they're filming it. And I'm super excited for this. I mean, I know the last one people weren't a big fan of, but it's Indiana Jones. It's Harrison Ford and Steven Spielberg. It's going to be a fun time. I think it's one of my favorite franchises. It's obviously our namesake, so I'm super excited for what happens with this movie.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it. We're going to go see it in theaters for sure.
Yeah.
There's another awesome little tease where for the Flash movie, director Andy Muschietti, he's the guy who did It, the remakes of It. He shared a photo of Michael Keaton's bat symbol from his bat suit covered in blood. So clearly there's going to be some cool action scenes with Batman and the Flash in it.
Is Ben Affleck's Batman going to be in it too?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. I think it's just going to be Keaton.
That'd be
and
super cool.
Maybe like Val Kilmer, who knows.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll have Clooney come because like who cares about Clooney being Batman?
I
love Clooney, but like who gives a fuck about his Batman?
Yeah, he doesn't need to do it. I love that DC and Marvel are doing the same thing because they're doing that with Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're all copying each other.
Yeah.
That's what it's always been like. Ant to Bug's Life. It's the way it goes. Oh, they're making this kind of movie. Let's make that kind of movie. Oh, they made The Prestige. Let's make The Illusionist.
And then Wedding Crashers 2 is apparently happening.
Yeah, speaking of Owen Wilson.
Want to go crash a wedding?
Yeah. As long as Will Ferrell's in this, I will go see it.
He's definitely going to have a cameo.
He's got to because he's the best character in the first one.
I feel like they always could have. I wondered why they never did a sequel because the first one was so good. It was such a big hit, and it launched those two guys. Like after Wedding Crashers, Owen Wilson took off because then he did Shanghai Noon and just became a huge star.
Ma, the meatloaf!
Meatloaf!
The meatloaf, ma! I think they didn't do a sequel right away because, like, how do you make the sequel to that? It's like, I feel like where do you go with those characters? It seems like they kind of tied it off with a bow in a way. Like, the characters kind of came to, like, a conclusion with their storylines.
Yeah, they both found women.
They found their love. So do they do it where they both lose their marriages or relationships?
Then it's got to be Isla Fisher and Rachel McAdams. Rachel McAdams should be in it, too.
They probably will. The full cast is returning.
Yeah.
So that hopefully means Will Ferrell as well. Maybe they'll be crashing funerals like his character does in it.
What's his name? Tank or something?
Chaz.
Chaz, that's right.
So maybe they'll be crashing funerals like Chaz does at the end of Wedding Crashers. He's like, the girls are so much hornier here, man. It's crazy. What a ridiculous character.
You know what the biggest aphrodisiac is? Grief.
So hopefully Will's back. I would love to see that for sure. But yeah, I think they'd have to have like their relationships have ended, or they're trying to get the girls back.
Something like
Maybe
that.
they like relapse into just like being F boys again and just trying to get as much women as possible and womanizing people.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
They like both. Yeah, maybe they have divorces and they're like, let's crash weddings again. F it.
What if they crash their ex-wives' weddings? That'd be funny.
But yeah, we'll see.
And then the Jurassic World Dominion trailer is apparently going to come out this week. We'll see what it looks like. I wasn't a huge fan of the last one. We'll see. I thought it was kind of cheesy how it ended, and it's like they kind of implied that dinosaurs are going to take over the Earth. It's over.
Which is what they've implied that in like all the sequels to Jurassic Park.
Yeah, exactly. It just seemed like how are they going to do that in 5 years? Like,
Yeah.
they're not friggin' buddies. They can't multiply that quickly.
The thing with the new Jurassic Park movies, they're sort of like this phenomenon where the movies aren't that great. The first one's, it's good in a way.
It's a movie.
It has its moments, but it's like, how are these the most successful movies like ever the most successful Jurassic Park movies and some of the most profitable movies ever made? You know, I mean, these box offices were huge.
It's because of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs, kids love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And it's the ultimate family movie. Like seeing real life dinosaurs in a live action movie, that's why they've always been successful, regardless of what the script and story is. And so I just think that it's going to make a boatload of money because kids love dinosaurs.
I can hear all the conspiracy theorists and flat earthers be like, dinosaurs are actually fake. They're not real.
They were created by the government to control your minds. Unsubscribed.
So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know if I'll see that in theaters. If the trailer looks cool,
I
mean,
watched
guess.
the last one and I was like, wasting my money.
What else we got for news? Oh, Warner Brothers bought Discovery, which is wild because Discovery is obviously a channel that we've all been surrounded with our entire lives. You know, Discovery, the network, they own the Discovery Channel, Food Network, HGTV, TLC, Animal Planet, all those science channels, the investigation channels, cooking channels. So they own a ton of stuff. They just bought it, and now it's going to be called Warner Bros. Discovery. So I think it was probably a great acquisition because I think these mega corporations, they're right now like, we got to buy as much as we can. It's like Monopoly, where you got to buy everything before it starts running out because it's online and streaming. All these studios, all these companies are being bought like so fast. It's like hotcakes.
And I think they're doing it now more than ever because of streaming. So they're building platforms for their streaming services.
Yeah.
So because HBO Max doesn't have that much. It's not like Amazon Prime. It's not like Netflix. So Warner Brothers needs to get more content. I think they're just trying to be able to compete with the other two big guys. And so they can't do it right now. I've been on HBO Max a bunch of times. I'm like, it doesn't even, their library is tiny compared to Netflix.
It's pretty small.
So they need more content.
But they have great movies on there. That's the thing. And again, it's like if you land on Baltic Ave, you're like, most people are going to buy it. Like that's what these companies are like. Yeah, I'm still going to get it. I'm still going to get like $6 when someone lands on it.
When you play Monopoly, just buy everything you land on. That's how you win. Amazon also bought MGM, which is a big deal because MGM is a very old studio. And they have a ton of movies and TV shows, a huge library, and most importantly, Bond is their diamond.
Yeah, I'm not very excited about this because I don't really want the next James Bond film to be an Amazon original.
I don't want it to be on Amazon Prime as a. It's just Bond has to be. I'm sure Bond will always be in theaters, but it just. I mean, what if they ruin Lord of the Rings with their show? They're gonna ruin Bond.
Not that like. I mean, yeah, it is what it is, but I don't think like Netflix's original films aren't that great. Amazon's original films aren't that great. Obviously, there are some outliers like The Irishman for Netflix, and I mean, wasn't Manchester?
Yeah, but that doesn't count because that's Scorsese.
All right, but Manchester by the Sea, that was an Amazon production, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, there are exceptions to the rule, but in general, most of these Netflix originals, Amazon originals, Hulu originals, they're not great productions. They're kind of like the translation of like network TV into film. Like this, like
they're like TV movies.
Very efficient, like decent lighting and okay acting and scripts, but they're just like shoving this in our faces like as quickly as possible. So I'm not super excited about it. But I mean, it's kind of inevitable at this point.
And also, you kind of worry: are they going to turn it into a franchise, like a universe, like the Bond universe?
Yeah, and then we have like a
different
Bond TV show.
different double O's.
I bet you that's going to 100% happen.
And that's not something I want. I think Bond should just be Bond. It's just a solo thing, and I think that Amazon might try to extend it.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to like having like a 008 TV show or like another 007 show, but like it's not going to be a good quality show. That's
because it's not Bond.
Yeah,
you don't go there to watch. It's not called 00. It's not called double O's. It's called Bond. You know what I mean?
Is what it is.
You go there for James Bond, and that's it.
This is the world we're living in, man. Yeah. We can't have just MGM anymore.
Man.
What else we got for movie news?
Oh, David O. Russell's new film. They released the casting, and it's absolutely absurdly stacked. I mean, this is the casting: Robert De Niro, Margot Robbie, Christian Bale, Mike Myers, John David Washington, Rami Malek, Zoe Saldana, Timothy Olyphant, Michael Shannon, Chris Rock, Anya Taylor-Joy, Andrea Riseborough, Matthias Schoenhartz, and Taylor Swift. It's absurd.
Isn't Christian Bale in it or no?
I said Christian Bale.
Oh, sorry.
Do you even listen to anything
I was
say?
just blown away by the list. I was just like trying to keep up.
Yeah, he took a lot of time off because the guy made 4 movies back to back to back, and they're all absurdly good. And if you act in a movie of his, you're gonna get nominated for an Oscar. So I think every actor wants to work with him, and that's how he gets like J Law to work with him so many times, Christian Bale to work with him repeatedly, Bradley Cooper. Like this is the third one with De Niro. So I mean, he's I think David O. Russell could be the ultimate actor's director.
Yeah, because it's not like when he goes into shooting, he cares so much more about characters than storyline and plot. So like they have a lot of improvisation. I think for great actors and the actors who love what they do, they can really like embody the character and kind of just become that person rather than just reciting their dialogue that they memorized.
Yeah, he pulls performances out of his actors that they can't normally get. Like for example, I read that like for Silver Linings and American Hustle, like the actors would say that David O. Russell would like berate them and tell, like, he's not afraid to say that sucked and tell them like, you got to do like that was horrible. Like, what are you doing? He's not afraid to say that stuff, and no other directors really talk to them like that. But by talking to them like that, he pulls out even better performances than they could have imagined from them.
What else we got? So the news of Face Off 2 came out a couple weeks ago that it was in development, and people at first it was being said and reported that it was going to be a remake, but then I just looked into it this morning. It's actually going to be a sequel. So hopefully that'd be cool if we have
they're returning.
If they're both coming back. So I would love to see it. And I wonder if they like switch faces back again. Who knows?
They got a good director too.
Yeah.
I can't remember who they got, but it's a decent director.
Well, I mean, John Woo made the first one, which is actually pretty cool. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, John Woo. That was I believe that was his first American movie.
Yeah, and then
they gotta have the doves flying.
The doves
around.
flying. I was literally thinking of that shot. Like of all the shots in the movie, that one just
that's his thing.
Yeah.
He does that in all his movies.
Yeah.
He did it in Mission Impossible 2.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Or
No, he didn't do Fast and Furious.
No, what do you do? He did Mission Impossible 2. That's right. Yeah. You're right. Anyway, so I'd be stoked to see that because Face Off is a classic.
I love Travolta and Cage.
Classic. Those two guys are great.
Wait,
Legends. No, that's Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow. Both great. Both peak Travolta. After Pulp Fiction, he's like, let me do these fucking big budget action movies.
But Face Off, like the concept is great, and when they made it, it was what, like 99, 98. So like the technology, like at the time, didn't seem like it was possible. But now, because tech has advanced so much, it seems like so much more realistic and probable that it could happen. So I'm sure they'll introduce like new tech big time into it because it's like 25 years later.
And the thing with the concept, it's funny, but it's completely improbable because even if you swap faces, everything is still the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Your body shape, your everything about you hasn't changed.
Yeah, they just like slice your face off and put it on somebody else.
But somehow it's like they completely changed bodies.
It's like that scene in Superbad when Fogel's afraid to go into the liquor store, and then Jonah Hill's like, "Well, I'll cut your face off with a knife, stick it on my face, and go get it myself."
Yeah, like Hannibal Lecter. I think that's what more closely would be like Lecter in the ambulance when he sits up.
Yeah, that's what it would look like.
But my guess is rather than swapping faces, they would probably swap consciousnesses.
Souls.
That's how it would work.
It'd be like that shitty Ryan Reynolds movie, Selfless.
Oh my god, we watched it. We had to watch that.
It was
my god,
really bad.
It was
it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Selfless with Ryan Reynolds. I don't know what the hell he was doing, if he was just playing ball at the studio or what.
You get paid $10 million, bro.
I guess.
I'll do that for $10 million.
That is worse than Green Lantern.
It was a bad movie. And the saddest part was he was trying real hard. He put everything into it.
Well, I mean, he's a good guy. He's hired to do a job. He seems like he just puts in full effort.
Yeah, exactly.
And I bet the script didn't seem as bad as the movie was. But
I'm sure it was fine on paper.
Sorry if anyone likes Selfless, but that movie is straight hot garbage.
We gotta do episodes where we trash movies.
Yeah,
I think people might like that. If y'all would want to hear that, leave comments on our social medias if you want to hear us trash bad movies.
All right, what else do we have for movie news? You got anything else?
Seth Rogen is making the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise. It's gonna be animated. We'll see what it looks like. Are they gonna be talking about their balls all day?
Hey man. We'll see. Seth Rogen, I love Pineapple Express. I love Superbad. I really like Knocked Up. So I think, and I mean, this is the end is fantastic, and the interview's really funny too. So we'll see. But he's like a hit or miss kind of guy. He's had some bad movies as well. I mean, what was
Your Highness.
Yeah, Your Highness is not good. The remake that they did of what's it called?
Wait, no, he didn't do. He produced Your Highness.
Green Hornet was
Green
really
Hornet.
bad.
Yeah,
That movie was terrible. The security guard movie, that's really bad.
Yeah, that movie's. That's a weird movie.
But he's like a hit or miss guy. You got anything else?
For movie news, that's all I got for this week.
All right, so thanks for tuning into this first kind of segment of recent movie news. We'll be doing this every week, so stay tuned for this week's episodes. On Monday, we're dropping a great one for you.
When we're posting these movie news ones on Saturdays, right?
Yeah, so Saturdays will be our
keep
movie
an eye
news days.
keep an eye on Saturdays, guys.
And yeah, aside from that, I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend, and stay tuned for episodes this week, Monday and Thursday, and then we have a bonus episode for A Quiet Place Part 2 coming out on Tuesday. It'll be a spoiler-free / spoiled episode, so we'll do like 10 minutes spoiler-free, 10 minutes spoiling the movie, so check it out even if you haven't seen it.
I'm going to tell you the ending right away.
All right, everyone, have a great weekend.
Bye.
Thank you for watching Raiders of the Lost podcast. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Listen to the audio format of Raiders of the Lost podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever you listen to podcasts. New episodes every Monday and Thursday. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost podcast.